Welcome, David. Thank you very much for joining us on this
Well, thank
evening.
you.
I know you're a very busy man. To kick things off, so some of the lads in here might have heard of you. Obviously, lots of people have spoke about what you're doing and how you're doing it. But
Yeah.
if we didn't know who you was, please give us a bit of an introduction into who you are right now.
So Energy Pig, we're based in Glasgow. I'm not an engineer, by the way, just so you know. I'll be honest with you, I've winged it all the way, to be honest. That's the truth. I've winged it, to be honest. But I came from a sales background and I was always in indirect sales. So eventually decided to go out my own, really, and just sell boilers. Done that for a good number of years. Done boiler finance, all that sort of stuff. Um, and then basically just I've been involved in the eco market as well. That I kind of know inside out. Most people don't really know this, but I actually lost my first business years ago, end up homeless and stuff like that. So it was good to get a kind of an opportunity to get back into the heating market, and that's where I started kind of back to normal, direct selling. I had one engineer, it was a subcontractor, and one service engineer. I think I spoke to you, Wayne, at the time when I was just setting up the sale, and you were doing the service, mate, and I was trying to find an alternative to that. So
Yeah.
one service engineer in 2017, and we built it up to having one heating team, myself selling boilers, blah blah blah. Many years. I've been through all the same hurdles we've all been through. Cash flow, investments, just everything. And then basically when COVID hit, that's when I took the plunge to start doing the insulation again. And we kind of at that point that's when we kind of grew the business. So we went from being a very 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 small company, maybe doing 500 grand a year, and then within probably about a year and a half, we grew it for having one or two vans on the road to 18 vans on the road. And that was just due to insulation, heating, etc. Surveyors and stuff like that. And now Energy Pig is kind of staff's about nearly 80 members of staff. We just let a few people go there, just through other reasons. But we're down to 74 staff now. I think it's 41 vans now they've got now. 41 vans, I'm sure we've got. So it's been a bit of a journey.
And that's some journey in such a short period of time. So before we sort of, I don't want to lose. I want to try and keep a bit of a timeline with this. So a couple of things that stuck out to me there was the first thing you said was that you're not an engineer. So do you mean you've never been a plumbing and heating engineer?
Never in my life.
So you've got no hands-on
No trade.
practical experience.
No trade. To be honest, I left school, to be honest with you, with very little education, to be honest. Just kind of, it's like you've got a wee bit of kind of street education, but I was never silly or daft at it, and I just didn't really school didn't interest me really at all.
Yeah.
I was always wanting to make money, do you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And I've always been a kind of entrepreneur. My first business, I was 9 year old. I set up a cleaning company, and I've always sort of had that sort of drive to be the best and just really do better than what I had when I grew up. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. So that's really interesting to hear, because obviously the vast majority of people in this industry start off as being an engineer. That is their introduction into the industry. So it's interesting to hear that you didn't have that luxury.
We've actually spoke about this, haven't we, Wayne? My thoughts on it is it can actually be detrimental being an engineer. While it allows you to start off with a little bit more speed, I think it can be detrimental to building a business, especially the size that you've built. And arguably, especially if you are someone who prides yourself on being an engineer, I think it clashes with the business owner side of things. That's just my 10 cents on it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I guess because it removes that safety net of you being able to go and deal with any problems that come up, because you can't, you haven't got the skill, you've got to find other solutions, haven't you? So that's, really interesting. Another thing you said in that little introduction was that you lost your first business. So can we try and dive a little bit deeper into that? Because
so my company was
normally lessons.
I've learned a lot of lessons. My first company was called GDEP. It stood for Green Deal Energy Program. I was only about maybe 28, 29 year old, maybe just over 30, I think, I'm sure it was. And basically, I grew the business probably very, 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 even faster than I've done now. But I was very naive and I didn't understand how to actually balance books and just in general things that made a lot of mistakes, that wasn't paying my VAT, wasn't paying PAYE. I employed 121 staff at one point. And it was just a free for all, to be honest. I had no control over it, and it only lasted maybe 2 or 3 years. I was doing about £1 million every quarter, which I thought was amazing, to be honest with you, especially at a young age. I just didn't know what to do with the money. And to be honest with you, if I can speak freely, I was an arsehole, to be honest with you. I didn't actually understand what I was doing. I was wasting money, and I had the wrong people round about me as well. And I didn't kind of understand business whatsoever. It was just a punt, grew dead quick, lost control, and inevitably what happened, I lost the business, owed the HMRC money, owed the PAYE, owed creditors money and stuff like that, like merchants and stuff like that. And the only downside to that was I actually had a lot of personal guarantees against stuff. So ultimately what happened was I had to pay these people back. I sold my cars, sold my house, paid them all back. Eventually the company went under, it folded. We had a wee bit of debt, nothing major. I think it was Travis Perkins, I think it was maybe 9 grand, I think I left on me. But I mean, apart from that, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was a very, very low point in my life that I didn't even care what was kind of going on, really. You know, it was just hit me one time, and you feel trapped as well, because it's difficult to. I mean, I always see things, and I like your stuff that you post, because you always see people posting about all the good things. They never really post all the bad things, you know. And it's good to have a community there where you can actually reach out and maybe discuss things, you know. It's just and that back then, I mean, we never had podcasting back then, never had groups set up, you know. So I mean, it was like, who do you turn to, you know?
So would this been, just to get some time context, if that was Green Deal, it sounds like you were going through this at a similar time that I was losing my business, around 2013, 2014 time. Would that line up about the right sort of time?
So what happened was I lost 826 grand overnight. And as a company from, it was Cornwall, the company, it was called Green Oak. I think they were called Green Oak. Not trading anymore, but basically they took all the work off me. They were paying me, and then overnight they just shut the doors and they owed us that amount of money. Probably about 500 grand with that was probably outlay, and the rest was profit. So it was quite a sore one to take, and I'd already paid everybody in my own pocket, because we're on 90-day terms.
Was that the fatal blow? I gather
that was me finished. That was me done. And that's through the whole motion, trying to pay like your merchants and stuff like that. It was just a horrible time, really, to be honest. That was 2004.
Did you have people around you that helped you through it, or did you have to sort of hunker down on your own and
done it myself? I went to see an advisor first, and they basically put me into like a liquidation process.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any assets. That's the thing. I spent all the money, so I done it wrong. You know,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like I had. I mean, I had a couple of cars and stuff like that, but and I think if I knew now back then, it'd be a different story. You
Yeah.
know, I had a good thing, but you know, everything happens for a reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely it makes you stronger. So before we move on along from that part, what would you say? And I'm putting you on the spot here, just so everyone's aware.
That's all
We
right.
haven't done any
That's all
prep
right.
conversations or anything, so give David a break if you don't answer these straight away. But what would you say were the sort of like three biggest lessons that you sort of, once the dust had settled and you sort of had regained some sanity in your life, that you sort of were thankful and took forward into the future with?
I think it was more employing the right people as well. I think that was the thing. I had a lot of people in about me that was just sort of take, and I was paying ridiculous amounts of money to engineers and that because I wasn't an engineer.
Yeah,
I was paying people stupid money, but at that time, if you remember, the money was really good on the
yeah,
Green Deal program, so I thought that was a norm. And I mean, I would probably say I'm a bit more. I mean, I use a company called Credit Safe to monitor anybody that I do business with, either be a contractor, any merchants. So I actually monitor them, and I monitor myself as well, and that's just to make sure that we don't fall behind with CCJs or and it's just in general, it's good to have that sort of um, kind of awareness
yeah,
of actually how to run a business. I find that a lot of engineers, and I don't mean that's nasty or anything, but they don't know how to become the next level, become like the Joe Valenti thing. I know he talks about it all and stuff like that, you know, and like become a businessman. It is difficult as well because no one teaches it. No one teaches
yeah,
you anything. I think schools a lot to blame for this as well. I think a lot of things at school they teach you German and French when I can't remember I've ever been in Germany. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like if they took a wee bit of time out and showed people how to actually understand spreadsheets or just the basic sort of knowledge you need to start a business. You know what I mean? I think that is night and day. It's
yeah,
maybe different in England to Scotland, but I don't ever remember being sat down and I was always told that I would do nothing myself and um,
yeah,
yeah, go and be a bin man or go to the army. You know,
They
that's what I was
don't,
told.
they don't want people to be able to think so independently, though, do they?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
That's what
Yep.
it boils
yeah,
down to. They want people to continue through this system, and
Yeah, yep.
yeah.
Where did
That's it.
Totally agree.
Very true. Very, very
um,
true. Oh,
and where
sorry,
did you
someone.
learn all this, David?
Sorry.
Where did you learn all this then about business and that? And
Believe it or not, most of it on YouTube. On
oh,
YouTube, I learned a lot of stuff. Just at that point in time, I sat down. I done the basic. I used to do everything with paper, like write everything down in paper. I was quite a dinosaur in regards to software, so I never used QuickBooks or anything like that. It was all done through kind of promises and stuff like that, and I never did any invoicing sort of stuff set up. So the first thing I set up was a program called Power Now, which I really like, to be honest. Which maybe not the best, probably not the best practically, but it helped me sort of understand your quotes and your sales and targets and sort of kind of visual of the business, and then eventually go into like QuickBooks and started to understanding how it all works and when to pay things on time and how to actually manage our money as well. So years
Yeah,
ago when we just bought everything, all the vans, everything, we just bought everything cash all the time, and I'm a big believer in and a lot of people don't agree with this, but I believe in use other people's money to make money. So
definitely.
I, I financed a lot of vans, a lot of assets. So the company is asset rich, but like obviously, before we just go and buy vans all the time, no cash flow because you thought, oh, I don't want to be in debt. I need to buy this, need to buy that, and it's good to have that sort of understanding how you actually scale it, you know, without actually using your own money.
Yeah. That's
Um,
interesting, definitely. So moving on along the journey a little bit here. So once
Yep.
the business had gone bang,
Yep.
obviously you'd sold your house, your car. What did you do physically? Like physically, what was that next year like for you? Like, how did you survive? What did you do to get back on your feet?
So the absolute truth is, for a year and a half, I sold knocked off clothes. That's the truth, right?
Yeah.
That's the God's honest truth. I went down to a place called Newbury Lane, and I bought better not say that, but I bought lots of like fake handbags and
Yeah.
Ugg boots and all that stuff. And to be honest with you, that sort of that helped me stay afloat, if you like.
Yeah.
So when I downsized, I sold my cars. I actually bought an old Range Rover, right? I know you might think, why do I buy a Range Rover? But I did a thought process in that. I thought, well, if I've lost my house, I've nowhere to go. I'll just basically stay. I can, if I buy a car, like an estate or a Jeep of some sort, I can sleep in the back of the car, put the seats down, and if I need to get washed and stuff like that. So probably for about 3-4 months after I lost my business, I was sofa surfing on my friends' couches and stuff like that. And I was taking my bags in my car, and I would go to the gym for a shower and stuff like that. It's just it was a
Wow.
really, really low point.
The side of business that no one
No
shows,
one, no
isn't
one
it?
sees,
Really? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
slept, and the thing is, as well as I was, you're kind of too proud as well. Your kind of pride gets in the way, and your
Yeah.
kind of ego as well. You don't want people to know. That's why I still had a Range Rover. I still wanted people to think that I wasn't a deadbeat. I wasn't finished. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
I can 100% resonate, man. Like not on the same scale, but when I lost my business, it was my ego that was the hardest thing, because I didn't
mhm.
want what I was worried about what everyone else would think when, like, I'd
Yeah,
lost everything that I have, it's a horrible place to be, isn't it? But this moved me on nicely, because you rightly or wrongly, you made money, right? You've obviously got that built into you, but was there, you can obviously sell, yeah. So what 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 was it, especially back then when you were having to hustle, and then obviously when you were starting to build what now is Energy Pig?
yeah.
Where did you how did you become, how did you sell so much is basically the question. Like, what is it that you do, or what you did do, that
So
that
I,
catapulted that?
I read the Jordan Belfort kind of
Yeah.
book as well about the straight line system and all that as well. I'm not saying that works, right, but I took a lot of good things from it. I don't do
Mhm.
that the way it was, but I took a lot of pointers from it and used that. So I knew there was a market for boiler finance, and I knew there was
Yeah.
a market there for it. A lot of people didn't have cash, especially at that point in time. A lot of people it was a wee bit of, the economy's a wee bit slow. So I thought, well, if I can get into the kind of the private sector, if I can sell finance to homeowners, etc. So probably for about 6 months, I was out chapping doors on the street, chapping people's doors, asked them if they wanted if they wanted a boiler.
So
I
you were literally door to door
Door to
knocking?
door, yeah. So
Yeah.
there was a
Wow.
company, called Boiler Genie in Glasgow, actually, Andrew
Yeah.
Stock. So Andrew gave me the opportunity to basically sell boilers for Boiler Genie, if you like, as a commission based only. So I sold a few boilers for him. I realised the market was pretty good. I went to Andrew and told him, I went, Andrew, I'm going to do this myself. He wished me all the best. And then I started I went and applied for my FCA license. So I don't know if you know Dave Smith,
Yes.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
owns,
Yeah.
owns
From
Quantico. So I was on the phone to Dave.
yeah.
So Dave knew me from my kind of Green Deal days, right? So Dave
Yeah, because
spoke to
he
me.
was he had built VHL, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They
no, it
were
was
they
that
were a huge company
VHS,
at one. Yeah,
Valley Heating
VHL.
Services. So
Yeah.
just at that point, Dave had sold Valley and moved on. So Dave became a sort of mini mentor to me. So Dave was telling me how to do this. He put me in touch with a guy who helped me develop to do my FCA license.
Yeah.
So got my FCA license, It was 2017, I'm sure it was. Got my FCA license, and then we started doing boiler finance myself. So my company was called Energy Grant Scotland, right? So the idea was that we would go in saying, look, we've got a grant for you, or you don't qualify, but we can give you boiler finance, blah blah. Just a name to try and get customers. And it worked, and that we built it up for there. So from 2017 to 2018, it was just go with boilers. We were doing maybe about 12 boilers a week on finance. Done okay out it. To be honest, it wasn't really. I still think that the markup that we were getting at that point in time wasn't the most expensive. I think I could have pushed it a bit more, because I see a lot of other guys' prices and like combis and that at the time. I think they were going for like £2.5 grand in that at the time. It's quite expensive. And I was a wee bit cheaper than that. And then I think over time it started to decline. But then we hit COVID. COVID came.
So before we move into COVID, I just want to
Yep.
just want to probe a little bit on a few
Yeah,
things
sorry.
there. So that's all right, that's fine. So coming from no trade background, you obviously had to find people to fit these boilers that you were
Yep.
selling, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems most people face is getting the work is most of the time the easy part. Getting people to do the work that becomes the problem. So where were you finding, were they guys or girls employees? Were they subcontractors? How were you getting these people in?
So we had one subcontractor at the time, and eventually I talked him into coming direct to me, and that's where we started to kind of to scale. We brought in a engineering house, and then we got another contractor, and then we were kind of using that steady method. So we had like, I think we had actually 3 or 4 installers, one in house, and the rest of them were contractors, and that's how we managed to get the volume in, and kind of get our name out there. So we done that for many years, but I had to learn just the kind of basic stuff, like if a condensate's froze over, or fixing heating controls, just the kind of basic stuff, that maybe rather than getting name out and costing money, I would go out and kind of do it, So I picked up the kind of basic knowledge of kind of quick repairs, if you like, but not really nothing technical. I would never take a case off or anything. Do you know what I mean? Nothing like that. Just the bog standard stuff, the topping pressure up and stuff like that.
So at that point, then, just before COVID, were you financially, were things okay, or was
No,
you?
no, we found it was a bit of although we're doing the numbers, I've just felt that we weren't making enough money.
Okay.
I just felt that we were just maybe just getting by. So we were doing doing good numbers of boilers, but probably selling too cheap. And same again, maybe not understanding your actual your numbers, like your kind of like your stock levels and the pricing and stuff like that. So I probably felt that we were probably the kind of lower end of the kind of market. So and I think we struggled with that. So just at that point, I got a sort of a kind of loan off somebody, a business loan, just to try and clear my feet, try to understand, and then I started to bring in like an accountant, and a girl in the office to do the servicing in house with one service engineer, one heating team. That was so one engineer, one labourer, a few contractors, and then it started to get momentum, and it was starting to turn money. We put the prices up. I needed that wee bit of breathing space, just week to week, just to give me that sort of level that I could actually assess stuff. Without having to go and sell a boiler for £1,500 just to try and pay the wages. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which so many they fall in the trap of just selling, making some money, even though
Yeah.
it's actually costing them, isn't it, in reality,
Yeah.
because it's not there. Yeah. So that moves us on to COVID, which obviously at the beginning of COVID, the very beginning, obviously it was very, very scary for pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But as a whole, the heating industry ended up booming pretty much through it because people had extra spare cash and
Yeah.
whatever. But obviously for you, it was quite a pivotal moment because I think it's where you sort of started to shift
Yeah.
direction a little bit. So do you want to share a
Say,
bit about
aye,
that?
same again. I see an opportunity in the market. Eco free was live. I knew the industry pretty well. So
So for
what I
those
done,
that don't know, can you just explain what
yeah.
eco-free
So
is? Just
the
briefly.
eco sort of market is the government backed scheme. Most people have heard of it, but maybe don't understand how to get involved in it. It is a kind of, I would say, a bit of a secret society, a wee bit. A lot of people don't help people in the industry. I certainly do, but most of them don't. Um, but just to wrap, so Eco's a government programme to reduce carbon emissions. It's selling carbon credits direct to utility companies or managing agents. That's how it works. So I can take any questions about that if there's any questions about it if they want to ask.
I definitely do, but I don't want to interrupt the flow. So I'll come
Aye.
back to that
Yeah.
once we sort of get through the
So
process, if that's okay.
yeah, just at that. So just at that point in time, we realised that with COVID, more people in the house. A lot of people were going to losing their jobs, getting into universal credit. That was one of the qualifying criterias for eco free. So I decided again to take a loan, a business loan. I took a loan of £500,000. A bit of a
Wow.
big jump to be honest. And I didn't think I'd have got it, to be honest with you. I thought it'd have been just, I had an idea in my head how I wanted to do. I'd a full business plan, get a cavity van, get a loft van, get more heating teams, blah, 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 blah. And then it came through approved from a company called, I think it was Funding Circle, it was.
Yeah.
Funding Circle. So they gave me a loan.
Just to clarify, £500,000. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Just making sure
So,
I heard that right.
aye, so
Yeah.
aye, £500,000. I put in the figures in. Don't know why. Something I still don't know how, because when I look at what I was turning over, I don't know how they'd done it. But anyway, somebody approved it. So it got approved. We got the money, hit the account, and at that point it was real. I went, oh shit, I'm going to I'm going to do this now. So I had a couple of contacts in England, so ended up sourcing cavity vans, sourced a company down in Wales to do training for to get the van rigged out and stuff like that. And employed a couple of installers, and they left. I convinced them to leave their job already, and they came in to work with us. Although I didn't have a cavity van, I said to them, look, I don't have a cavity van yet, but if you want to come in to start with me, you'll be my main installer. I'll look after you. But I need you to help me here. So they came in at the start, set them down south for training. So I had a lot of money there to do for cash flow. So I knew that would be fine. I would be absolutely fine for maybe a year, if you like, on paper. I thought I'd be fine for a year. But at that point, we got the cavity van, we got all the other assets, the surveyor vehicle. We just went crazy really. Started off, got admin in to the office, so I didn't need to do it, and basically started to build a kind of an infrastructure, because I was always, I'm a wee bit of a control freak, and it's hard to let things go because you feel like nobody can do it better than you and stuff like that, and you want to just hold everything yourself, and no, it's my bond he's playing, you know what I mean? So that was hard letting things go. So got in an accounts manager in, we got in a survey manager in, we got an installation manager in, a heat manager, and just basically just went for it. Total punt, just went for it. I had a good kind of blueprint and strategy on how to do it. But it's all right having it wrote down a bit of paper, but it's actually doing it. It's a different ball game, you know. MD can sell you a blueprint how to do it, but I had to roll the sleeves up and just get right into it, you know. And I think it took us like 18 months. I'm sure it was. We had like 18 vans in road in 18 months. And that was us kind of at full capacity that I fought. And I mean that year we only turned over. I think it was like that year we only turned over like 900,000. Um, which was a bit disappointing, to be honest with you. I've got a chart all. Um, Year after that, same again. We just grew and grew and grew. We added more people into departments and grew everything. So we could do more volume and stuff like that. And then
So
eventually,
as you were going through that growth, you must have started to embrace some systems and things by this point
yeah,
in the business. Yeah.
yeah. So we invested money in like CRM systems and stuff like that, just to monitor. Obviously like
Yeah.
QuickBooks and all. I mean that's quite an easy one, but QuickBooks, your CRM, the one called EcoServe, that was really good. That was a kind of that was a CRM specific to the eco market. So
Yeah.
I actually told them how to add kind of other features on it, other features for the private market as well. So they've took that on board, they've built it into it now, and it's fine. So we done that, and that was really good. And so we used Powered Now for our private market, we used EcoServe for eco market, and we used like QuickBooks for just all round financials.
Yeah.
And then it was just basically trying to work out how to when we had to generate an audit schedule, like have team meetings and stuff like that, and actually take time out to look at your numbers, because
Yeah.
you can be a busy fool, and I think that's where a lot of people make mistakes. They just run ahead and don't understand where they're at, you know, and
Yeah.
until some point it comes to crunch, and eventually it does break, you know.
So where were the leads coming from? Because that's
So
a big volume of cash coming
yeah,
in. But
so
where was this being?
we employed a lot of door canvassing teams who would go out
Okay.
door canvassing. We used to buy a lot of leads in from, there was companies called like Leads to You back in the day, Leads to
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
They done equal leads, done able to pay leads as well. We used them a lot. We used bark.com, we
Yep.
used My Builder, all that sort of stuff. And we had like an internal sales team. So if any calls come in, they'd go on the phone, book an appointment, book surveyor out, do the survey. If they qualify for eco, great. If they didn't, we'd try and sell them a boiler or
Yeah.
or something, ain't at all. You know, and that was the kind of the transition. We were trying to get something out every house.
Yeah.
Whether it be going to a house and get nothing, you try and sell them a service plan. You know, you with British Gas, we can do
Yeah.
it for X, Y, Z. You know, just anything to try and get out a house. So we had all that set up, and it was fantastic, you know. And we just basically just grew and grew and grew, and it's important to have that sort of level of management as well. So we had different managers in place for each department, and that's easier said than done, to be honest with you. It's all right people saying just hire managers, but I mean you need to make sure, one, enough revenue to cover their wages, and the other thing is, can they actually do their job as well? You know, how do you monitor that? So obviously you need to have like KPIs and reporting every month on what they're generated, and sort of, and just keep track of that, you know. So um we use one called Zoho, if you know that. Zoho.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good for targeting audience and any sales pipelines and stuff like that, you know. And I find that really good to use.
Yeah. What time frame is this now? Are we now sort of like into
Probably
sort of like
probably 2000, and this is it. Probably just we kept going, steady pace. 2021, I think. That'd have been us within
yeah,
that, I think. And that was us an eco market. We were a semi big company. We're doing really well, good growth.
yeah,
And then eco free finished. It crashed. Eco free finished. End of year accounts, we done £2 million, which was good. Obviously, you can see steady growth in that, you know. But then again, you've invested a lot of your profits back into the business, so you're not
yeah?
really sitting with a lot of cash there as such. And then we,
Is there
and then
warning to the eco scheme can't like stopping just
no,
for
they
my own?
well, we knew it had a sort of time frame on it, but they pulled it 6 months, basically 6 months early, and then they brought out a transition period into the new scheme called Eco 4, but that had a gap of about 6 months in between,
Okay.
where we basically had no revenue at all. Nothing was coming in. We no because we just like we kind of stopped doing private because we focused on on eco market, because at that point in time that's where the money was, you know. So
Yeah,
6 month period there where we just managed to make enough money by doing private sales and private cavity sales and stuff like that. And that we got the wages paid and stuff like that. But at that point it was really just survival mode. And then Eco 4 started, and that was probably the biggest push I've ever seen on heat pumps in 2022.
yeah,
That's when the heat pump started. So we sort of we didn't really get going with it until the latter part of 2022. Um, we had to then upskill all our engineers. We had to then understand how the process worked. It was a lot different what we've been used to, also with MCS and stuff like that, and different standards. So we just basically had to learn that quite quick. So I recruited a renewable engineer who ultimately became my manager for the renewables. He's an experienced guy, done a long time, brought that into play, and that's really when it's really kicked off. Um, so now we do heating, insulation, all renewables, heat pumps, solar panels, solar thermal. We do everything now in house now,
yeah.
and that's where we're at. So into
So
the aye.
during that sort of period, was there any touch and go moments?
Oh,
Any
aye,
scary?
aye. Oh, week to week. To be honest with you, week to week. Again, end up got to the point where we I'd paid bad. I'd paid back my investors, so they were all paid back. So, with the kind of funding circle and stuff like that, I was all paid back.
Yeah,
I then went. I knew I needed a wee bit of help with cash flow, so I ended up having to take loans out with like four different companies. One was called Rise Funding, I'm sure they're called. I got more money for Funding Circle. Four or five companies, I'm sure it was, with loans.
similar
So
sort of level as the big loan, or are we talking
no,
more or
no, it
less
was
money?
it was mostly normally like 70 grand, 70 grand, 80 grand, but it was short term
Yeah,
loans. So you were paying back. Sometimes I was paying back like 3 or 4 grand a week, sometimes on payments, you
yeah,
know. It was just short term loans just to keep everything moving until
yeah,
things started coming back in again. It's been an investment we put in, because we had to go and buy new fleet of vans, get them all re-signed, all new branding, you know, just kind of change the game a wee bit. And that was scary because, like, I mean, I'll be honest, there was some weeks where I was sitting with like I think it was 1 week. I remember it was a Friday. I had to find 30 grand on a Friday, and I had to phone my father-in-law and ask him if he'd send it over to me, or the doors were shut. And he just he transferred my money over to and he believed in me, and I said I'll get you back on Monday or Tuesday next week, because I was actually due money in, so I was always playing
Yeah.
robbing Peter to pay Paul every week until we kind of caught up with we had to like all our accounts and our investments all kind of started to level out, and that was just at this probably just at the end of 2022, and that was us really. It was starting to level now,
Yeah.
and then that year, that year after that, we done 10.4 million, with a gross profit of 2.8.
Wow, that's some jump. Fucking hell.
You know, so it was worth the gamble.
Yeah.
And that's, to be honest with you, that's all it was. It was just an absolute gamble. You know, it's
Yeah.
um and but it's all about it's about having balls as well. You know, a lot of people don't have balls, they don't want to go for it, you know. I knew it was going to come anyway, you know. I've published my figures online as well. Just so people know that I'm not talking bullshit. I know exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
I'll always say to people, I'm the real deal. I've done it. I've done it. I've been in the trenches. I've built it up. I've
Yeah.
lost it. I've built it back up. Aye, and you know, and it's we're in a great place now, you know, and it's we've just bought this new building, you know. So I think now I think the business now has got over probably the best part of 1.5 million in assets now as well, all bought and paid for.
So you're
You know,
building some real stability into the
yeah.
business,
So
as well as
uh,
earning well and doing well.
yeah, so if for whatever reason the business did fail, which I mean, we're in the start of a renewable sort of revolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you can't sell heat pumps and solar panels, then gee up. You know what I mean? And that's the truth. You know. I know, and by the way, and that's when I say that, it's not as easy as that, because they're really expensive units. You know, it's hard to sell that sort of stuff, but you need to get on board, or you're going to be left behind. And I actually feel sorry for a lot of the I still go to merchants to see like meetings and stuff like that with people, when I see installers that like guys that are still fitting gas combi boilers and that, and they don't understand. They're a bit naive, don't really understand that very, very, very soon, um, they're going to be snookered. You know, they're going to be left behind the times. You know, so what I was saying there was I try to build it now, so we're making good profit. We've no debt anymore. We're debt free. We've just bought a new building there. Just obviously I think we paid like 700 grand for a building, all bought and paid for. And we've got lots of assets, you know. And if that ever did go
Yeah.
pear shape, we sell the assets, you know. I'll always be fine,
Yeah.
you know. Not
Yeah.
me though. I would just reinvest it, but I try to keep it going. But no, it's just trying to sort of keep that level head, and
So,
understand that
yeah.
things can change in an instant, and just try to be a few steps ahead of the game. Really, that's all it is.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me right there was that having the ball. You know, unless you're willing to put some chips on the table and go for it, you're never really going to know if it can work, can you?
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, it is. I mean, my partner Nicola. I mean, she supports me all the way, and I think that's a big thing as well. See, if you've got
Yeah,
somebody behind you, you know. I think sometimes, especially with engineers and that, they're maybe stay themselves, and they can't turn to MD and talk to them, you know, and
yeah,
or they get moaned at for working late and doing repairs and that, you know. They don't realise that it's hard to earn a coin, you know. And she's really good, but I mean, she was biting her nails every week, you know. She's going like that. Oh no, David, man, what are you doing? You know, you're crazy. You're this, you're that, and I'm like, we'll be fine. It'll work. Trust me.
yeah,
Sometimes you can be blindsided with that. Sometimes I always knew it would work, but you
yeah,
need to manifest it as well. I think a lot of times people maybe they have a hard time and they just throw a towel in. You know, you need to just keep going. You know, only the strongest will survive, and that's I kind of live by that. You know.
Yeah. So you've obviously over the years you've had your finger on the pulse, and you've sort of been
Yeah.
able to sniff out the right channels to sort of focus on. Yeah, I think I know the answer because I think you've already answered it, but I'm going to ask the question anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over the next 5 years, where is the focus for you as the leader of
Um,
Energy Pig
yes.
going?
So as it stands now, I'm actually in the process of not exiting the business. I'd love to sell the business. Um, but I'm in the process at the moment of bringing in better management in here as well and giving people more responsibility and putting them on training courses so they know how to manage it. So I'm a big believer in if you're the sole person that makes that business work and something happens to you, you need to understand if you come out that business, can it still operate? And
Yeah,
I'm at the stage now there where I don't even need to be here anymore. Everybody knows their role. They all know that their targets and that. So the next phase for Energy Pig is if we don't get bought out. Um, I'll tell you something. So I've rebranded as ePig. I don't know if you've seen ePig.
yes, yeah, I have
Right.
noticed. Yeah,
So you'll think I'm crazy here, right? So what happened was I was away. I was away for a couple of nights. Where I was getting my bathroom done, and I woke up. I woke up at 3 in the morning. Woke up. And I woke Nicola up. I said, Nicola, we need to rebrand. She went, David, it's 3 in the morning. I went, I know, write this down. And I wrote down EPIG, right? That night, I had a dream that night that an energy company actually bought me out. So I was standing in my dream with a big check. This is in 2027. Standing a big check for, I think it was 50 million, I think the check was worth. So it was like, I seen this vision in my head and I thought, I need to change this. I need to do this now. She went, you're crazy. And I went, listen, all the big companies like Octopus, Ovo, Eon, all that sort of stuff have all get sort of a small name, quite catchy, like Ovo, 3 letters, Octopus, not as Octo sometimes, or Eon. And I was like, I need to shorten it. Energy Picture's too long and it's probably not viable. I think. I don't know. I felt that I could be wrong.
yeah,
So I've done a rebrand. I've kept some of the vans in ePig, some of the vans just in the wrong energy pig to see the market research to see how if we get any more leads or stuff like that through,
yeah,
see if it changes it. So done a wee test in ePig. We've done the rebrand as well as ePig there. You can see there. Don't you see
yeah,
that? The ePig.
yeah. That's
So
it.
I'm trying to manifest that into
Yeah,
2027 to hopefully we get bought out, and I'm going to try and do it in a way where the staff that are already here have shares in the business. So
yeah,
eventually, if they get bought out, then we'll all be looked after, through the whole process. But the next stage for David Macneil is I'm going to build a renewable training academy
okay,
up
interesting.
here. Now there is a couple already. That's my next sort of challenge, if you like, is to build this. I want to build a net zero community and a net zero sort of education. And I'm going to try and push it through Parliament as well, to introduce it into schools, so they can show people how to act, because there's a massive skill shortage, with
Yeah,
renewables, and I think if we can tap into that market, then we're on to a winner. And then that's Energy Pig. If that keeps going, and we've got training academy, we can then cherry pick installers that we're training as well, and get
yeah,
a better relationship with manufacturers and etc. So that is the next stage for us, and um, I've been buying property as well, using obviously the profits for Energy Pig to do that as well. So I own a company called EPIG, which is Eco Property Investment Group. So really that's just kind of buying properties for our eco business and being a landlord.
Is that just to manage the volume of cash that you're generating? Basically,
Yeah,
you need to be pumping it
it's
into
well,
better
the, the,
places.
the thing is, Wayne, see when, although you make say £3 million profit, 2.8 million profit, your corporation tax, you get hammered on that anyway.
Yeah,
So you're better trying to use the money to make other money elsewhere, you know, like buying
yeah,
property and that and having assets rather than giving them money, you
yeah.
know, it's a false economy sometimes. You work so, I mean, I'll give you an example. So my insurance is due to renew now for my public liability insurance. Now, I've I've had the same insurance, the same staffing, right? So well, roughly the same, not major difference, but we had maybe like 60 staff at one point, and I'll just say our quote was just say like £400 a month, right? For example, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but they're now saying that because of our massive growth, that we're getting penalised now. So I'm saying to them, so if I do more money with less staff, does it come down then? No, it's because of turnover. I said, well, what's the point? What's the point in that? I don't get it. How's that a risk for you if you're turning over more money with the same staff? I can't get it in my head. I'm actually puzzled how they come up with
Mm,
that. You know? So my insurance now is going to be up to maybe £3 a month now for liability insurance. You know, and you're saying, so surely the whole system's corrupt. You know, it's corrupt, the whole
yeah,
system. You make more money, you get taxed on it, you pay corporation tax, and then they hammer you again by taking more money. You know,
yeah,
so I think if you know that, I think if you know that sort of that you're getting hammered everywhere, then you can live with it a wee bit, you know. But yeah, I think that's something that's been annoying me the last couple of days. Is just like sometimes you get penalised for that as well for
yeah.
success, you know.
So one last question before we open up, because I appreciate
Yeah, not
we've
a
been
problem.
chatting for an hour. What's your projections for what is now EPIG over the next say 2 to
So
5 years? What's the ambition
I've
for you
got
to grow?
so I've not got it here now, but my goal, I sat down in our office. I've got a goal board. So my target this year is to do over 20 million this year. That's my target.
Wow.
And that'll be I mean, I know it's a bit of a jump, I know that a massive jump, right? But it's there for the taking. It's there.
Yeah.
The private market, in my opinion, hasn't even been penetrated for heat pumps or solar.
Yeah.
I think that as we go now with new governments and stuff like that, new governments come in, there's going to be more schemes available. So I think in England, you have get a scheme called the bus scheme. I don't know if do you.
Yeah.
So you get like 7.5 grand towards it, you know. So um, I mean, did you tap into that? What do you do anything like that at all?
So me personally, no. I think a few of the guys in the group are MCS and do part of that. But it's as you say, I think it's a very untapped market, isn't it? You know,
Yeah, I think
because
they're going to
the
develop
funding is
this.
different up north, isn't it?
Yeah, so in Scotland we get 7.5 grand per heat pump if they stay like normal sort of on gas areas. If they're rural areas, we get £9,000 towards it. So I mean the average heat pump is probably about 17,000 £17,000. So if you can get that towards it, happy days. You know, the only
Yeah.
downside
Yeah.
is if any guys are from Scotland here, is the only downside to that is that the money goes to the customer, the homeowner, before it comes to the installer. So what I've been doing is I've been doing 7.5 grand. Sorry, I've been financing the full amount of money, finance the heat pump, the install, and then the customer can keep 7.5 grand. I don't want it; they can keep it because it's already drawing down deposits and stuff like that for them. But it's the latter part, try to get that money for them, you know. And as you,
So just to clarify that, sorry, just so I
yeah,
understand and maybe the others. So hypothetically, it's an 18 grand job. You're putting them through finance for 18 grand. So you're in essence secured your money at this
Yep.
point, then, haven't you? And then the customer will apply for their grant and get their 7.5 back. But then they will have that 18 grand loan that they've got
Yeah, so
to
they've got,
pay back.
so
Yeah.
their selling point to that is that they can either keep 7.5 grand and go on holiday or buy a new car or whatever way to do it, or
Yeah.
what they can do is just pay that 7.5 grand into their loan.
To reduce it. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I like that. That's
you know what I mean?
a very,
It
very
means,
shrewd move from you.
well, it means we're paid as an installer, we're paid within 24 hours of the install, rather than having to wait sometimes 90 days of payment for these
Yeah.
customers, you know, and then you get, oh, you've damaged that radiators, that wall's dirty, or whatever, you know. I mean, we've
Yeah.
got a complaint process and a complaint board that gets managed, and some of the complaints, I mean, we don't lodge all the complaints because some of them are just ridiculous. To be honest with you, you know, I mean, I'd one the other, and I'll honestly, you laugh at this, right? I'd one the other day. So one of our surveyors were in the house, and one of the what they need to do is they need to open the window up and get a photograph of the window open to prove the house is ventilated, right? Of any ventilation. So the customer said that she phoned up and says that because the surveyor had left the window open, all her Wi-Fi had ran out. And
Wi-Fi had ran out.
I'm like that. I'm like that.
Did it, and I absolutely fucking howled.
The Wi-Fi had run
I'm like,
out. Brilliant.
what do you mean the Wi-Fi's ran out? She went, well, you know that Wi-Fi we've got, it goes out the window, and I'm like, aye, but that doesn't mean it. And I said, do you mean your electricity's ran out? And she says, no, the Wi-Fi. I'm saying, that's impossible. It's just an impossibility. I said, it doesn't work that way. I said,
That's brilliant.
do you open the windows in summer? Aye. Does it run out? No. I went, well, obviously no. It doesn't run out. That's Wi-Fi. So it was a crack. But there was just so many things, you know. And with us, so our setup is we've got 4-man teams. So at one point there, we were doing 16 heat pumps a week installs.
Wow.
So that was that consists of 2 engineers, a labourer, and a first-year apprentice. And that's so what they do is each team will do 2 installs a week. So they are on a bonus structure and stuff like that. So they sometimes work Saturdays to send install. But that's who we're at. So we've got like 4 or 5 heating teams now. We've got a few contractors as well. So for us, it was difficult because we had to try and get our credit limit up. So I think now that's a big key as well, your credit limit. So what I was saying before is with a lot of engineers that where they're going to fall short is if they've only got a credit limit of just say 10 grand at City Plumbing, they're never going to do a heat pump. They're never going to do it. It's going to be an impossibility unless these companies start helping sole traders and more businesses get there. But for them, it's a big risk, you know. So it's like, I probably spend about 60 grand a week, sometimes 8 grand a week on heat pumps. You know what I mean? Try to that I'm talking about the kits like the heat pump, the cylinders, the radiators, the pipe, the fittings, blah blah blah. So it's like, that's a different scale, you know. But I think doing 1 to 2 a week is going to be so difficult for these guys because they're never going to get that. They're never going to do that, you know. They'll just end up being contractors for people, and it's just fine, good money in that. I mean, I know guys you know that are doing it and they're making a lot of money. They're charging labour only 4 grand an install, and they're making good money, you know. But I think people need to stay in their lanes a wee bit, and I think there's going to be coming to a point where a lot of these guys are going to be really, really stuck behind times, you know, and it's a shame. But if there's anybody on this that needs advice or help, like MCS or whatever, I can help them. If they need any like sort of blueprints or any templates or any direction really, just reach out. I'm there to help as well.
It's
I
helpful.
really appreciate.
On
Oh, sorry.
So they cover the cost of the pump and the cylinder. We just have to provide labour and pipe work.
Yeah.
So and obviously they cover umbrella on MCS costs. As a one-man band, like you said, it's just impossible to, even if you get accepted doing all paperwork and stuff like that.
You're right. That's the other thing. You need a full army
And taking
behind
that
you
second
to do
half
stuff.
ground it as well while it comes through. You can't be doing it like it's.
It's difficult. It's
Yeah.
difficult. They don't make it easy. What they should do is give you a provisional MCS license in practice and do installs so you can actually access these schemes, because you having to do this it's a hard one, because if it means you need to do it for the money yourself and wait for the money coming in to fund to get your MCS license, and it's not really right how they do it. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it. It seems to be that the smaller companies don't get any sort of support at all.
Yeah,
Even
I
short,
agree.
I mean, you can buy a system called Easy MCS, right? Now it is easy and everything's there, but they don't show you how to navigate it. They don't show you what you need to actually produce. You might know it yourself, but there's no tutorials anywhere. You know, I got a guy in to do it for me, my first one, and gave me a template, and then I used that for all my other audits. But I mean, we've got a slip process in here. I mean, I don't know if I can't really show you really, but I mean, I'll try. I mean, we've got. I'll just try to walk right round here. So this is, for example, that's our pre-sales department, just a 4 desks there, right? And then this is up here. It's not finished yet, mind you, but up here is your design teams. So they design all your solar and heat pumps. So that's another 4 people. That's all they do all day, design jobs all day. They don't leave. They're chained to that desk. You know what I mean? And then you've got in here, you've got all your submission departments. They need to send out all the paperwork and customer handovers and guarantees and warranties. And then down here, you've got your customer care department who do aftercare calls, you know. So it's like trying to understand how you get for. Did you see that all right there, by the way? I'm not too sure if it worked.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, I would have never done. I mean, if this was a few years ago, I'd have been snookered. You know, you need. I mean, that's took a lot of money to get this right. You know, just
Yeah,
to get that expertise as well, training, and that's just the admin. That's not even the on site. You know, your electricians, your plumbers. You know,
yeah.
it's a mad
I've
industry.
got one last question before I
That's all
sort of
right.
let some other people chirp in. Sorry, David, but
That's all
it
right.
keeps coming to me. So there's going to be a lot of people that listen to this that think, shit, okay, I need to think about this now. Maybe it's a bit of a slap round the face, bit of a wake up call that eco renewables, heat pumps, they're going to have to jump in. What bit of advice would you give to the 1, 2, 3-man band that is looking for that next step? Where would you say, or what would you say would be that next step to move forward on that plan?
I think they need to get. I think they would need to get their MCS quite sharp and start the process. Maybe get
Yeah,
a kind of a strategy drawn up on where they want to be. Maybe a goal board set up where they want to be in the
yeah,
next maybe 6 months, because it's going to come quick. And then what's going to end up happening is a lot of people are going to jump on this, and it's going to put a lot of people back, like with assessments, and you know,
yeah.
you need to be in it to win it. I think, I think there's enough out there for everybody. By the way, it's this is gas boilers all over again. You know, when they went.
So is MCS then basically it's the first door that needs to be opened to
Yeah,
get
I
into
think.
this
I mean,
arena?
you can to pass the audit. You can do it yourself, right? It's no difficult. It's just need a job and then you can show them. Like your pay, how what I would suggest is buying Easy MCS, which is an online sort of CRM system. It's got all the
Okay.
forums on it. It gives you the full customer journey. It's got the intros, the handover, and just the proposals and the contracts and all that. It's all bought in it, so it's quite easy, and it's auto generates as well. So even from like a beginner's point of view, if you're going to starting from scratch, it's easy to follow. I mean, it's just you just follow the step by step, and then that's it. And then it's maybe trying to find a job. So if the guys are doing installs for other companies already, that might be difficult because they might not want to put another competitor on the market, which you find a lot. But I mean, they're going to need to do it somehow. I don't know how either try and find a customer or find their own house or somebody they know that wants it, and maybe get an arrangement in place that they only pay for the cost of the actual install. You know, there'll be no profit in it, just to sort of get them over the line. You know, but if you need any help with it, I can give them plenty of help to get it over the line. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant. I'll make sure I add your contact details so people can reach out and get in touch with you. Right.
Also, as well, I don't know if you know, so I jumped a level as well. So I'm not just an installer and eco, I'm actually a funder as well. So I'm actually a managing agent. So I actually help companies become installers get funding also. So I'm a carbon broker as well. So that's where I've predominantly most of a lot of our money's came from that as well, as doing the carbon trading. And that's helped other companies get access to funding, which is what I'm good at, you know, and that's something. It's to a wee bit of downturn just now for the next quarter, but next year is going to be crazy.
Wow. So lots. I think we could go on forever here, but I think a few lads might want to just ask you a few questions while we've got you.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it's getting on, so please just shout when you've got to go. We normally wrap up about 9.
This is
know
early, by the way. This is early. If I go home tonight, if I go home any earlier, she'll think I've not been at work.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed hearing everything you spoke about. I'll stop hogging David now. So the conversation went on for another hour, but unfortunately that is exclusive to the members of Off the Tools Alliance. If you would like some information on Off the Tools Alliance, please reach out to me on social media or phone me on my contact details on the website. Thank you. Bye-bye.